Okay, we're good.
If any recording or live stream is made of this public meeting as the property of individuals recording or live streaming the event, it is not the property of the city of Sarasota. The city of Sarasota does not have or maintain a copy of any recording or live stream. The recording or live stream, which may be edited or modified, are the sole property of the individuals who made the recording or live stream. Such individuals are solely responsible for its contents. Any requests for a copy or issues or concerns about the recording or live stream should be directed to the individuals who made the recording or live stream and not the city of Sarasota. All right, so last time we met, we received proposals from the officer sergeants and CSI. We have a counter proposal back, a package we're going to pass around. And I'm going to go through the changes. Oh, yes. Okay.
We did get a request today. Our understanding is Eric is aware of this. I'm not sure if you all are, but to shorten our session today to the maximum of 2:30, maybe even 2 o'clock, depending on this traffic. I just heard of email 70, which kind of so if we're all in agreement, we could look at 2 o'clock or something. I just want to make sure you all have enough time to get to where you want to. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right, so we're proposing status quo on the following articles, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 24, 25, and 26. We also going to propose status quo on appendixes A and B, but they just haven't been printed out yet. We are proposing some changes. We're going to go through those for each articles that we're revising and kind of give a brief overview of those to you. So start with Article 6, which is the Employee Management Committee provision. We incorporated the change. That was proposed last time to Section 1A, so the executive board may attend, but we suggest that if not all board members are able to attend, that can still proceed if so desire. And then we also propose that the city allowed to have additional representatives. I'm going to hold off on 7 for a moment, put that at the end. Actually, you know what? We can probably go through it. Let's just go through it numerically. So 7, what we're proposing is, and the appendix. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I apologize for that. As we put it together, we didn't page on the bottom.
We have the appendixes right after Article 7 to make it easier.
Okay.
All right. So the biggest change is we propose moving the everything that's not base pay into Article 22, which currently is residential incentive pay. We're going to propose changing the residential incentive pay to just be a general incentive pay article. So we have all the incentive pays as much as possible together as one group with the base pay in one section also. For the schedule change to the appendixes, we're proposing an increase for the officers and sergeants of 2% in the first year, 3% in the second year, and 4% in the third year of the contract. And that's tied to what we're also going to propose to change in Article 16, which is going again for RFRS. With CSI, we're proposing first year an increase of 7.5%, second year 6.5%, and 5% in the third year. We're also working in a bump of 2% for the 5th year for the longevity pay for CSI, along with 2% for the 10th year for CSI. The idea being is we're trying to move a lot more everything into base pay as much as possible to make it easier to administrate, everybody easier for people to understand. Is the purpose of what we're trying to do.
Was that 2 for the 10th year as well? Or
Yes.
2 for the 5th, was it?
2 for the 5th year and 2 for the 10th year. The other change you'll see with the CSI group is we're proposing that newly hired employees qualification include a bachelor degree of a relevant field of study, because currently it's now high school. In order to justify increasing its pay as they're trying to do, we need to have it be comparable to other positions which have a bachelor's degree. And I think that my
I
understanding
thought
is
we fixed that last year.
hasn't fixed it yet, but at least that's my understanding. But the idea is moving forward. So everybody currently is grandfathered in. I don't even know if that necessarily applies to anyone right now, but that's it. Is grandfathered moving forward.
Everyone has a bachelor's.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to Article 8, the specialized units. We're proposing only one specialty pay at any given time. We're proposing to apply to whether you're part-time or full-time, you get the specialty pay. We're proposing to move it to a bi-weekly pay schedule. And we tried to streamline some of the positions to what we view as the specialized units where there's a need for that special pay. And so we also just put it into a chart to make it easier to read. And then in section 3, we propose that there can be additional still assignments, but it's not going to be paid unless it's been agreed to by the parties moving forward. So the next article we want to talk about is the FRS. That's in Article 16.
Can I ask one question?
Of course.
So there's no incentive to live in the city?
That's still going to be in Article 22. We're restyling instead of just being residential pay, it's going to be additional incentive pays. It's going to have, trying to put all the incentive pays all together in one article as best we can. So with the FRS, we did some additional research, and one of the things that came up last time was our understanding in looking at the statute and talking with certain people was that we would have to do both a vote. We had to do 2 votes. We have to do 2 votes. The statute requires 2 votes. However, we have learned that the vote to have the second vote can occur through the CBA process. And so this is the language that we've been told will be sufficient for purposes of FRS for them to move on to the next step. So what this does is, if ratified, there'll still be second votes. That second vote is the time when everybody makes a decision whether they want to join FRS or stay with the pension. And then once that happens, that election happens, that selection is set for individuals and it's moving forward. And then all new employees, part of the unit, would then be part of FRS. This would not apply to any of the current employees. They all get the choice of being whether FRS or maintaining a pension plan. That's what this language is trying to do, is meet the requirements of what FRS requires to have a referendum, to have that second election choice by each of the individuals. There will be education during that process about what would happen to each individual, because each individual situation is going to be unique. They're going to have different requirements of what they want to do with their own decisions for retirement, and that's going to be individualized. This only says we can go to that next step. so we can have the ordinance drafted so that we can have those steps happen. It's all that this language is intended to do. And if it does not happen, if FRS does not accept us, nothing changes. Everybody maintains an pension plan. All right. So the next article that we're proposing changes to is Article 20, the clothing. And again, we're trying to streamline and put everything into the base pay as much as possible. So we're proposing eliminating the clothing allowance, but we would still maintain the laundry cleaning services for the officers and individuals part of the department.
We received it.
All right, benefits is the next article. There's a lot of changes on this one, and we want to give you some understanding of what we're trying to do with this.
What number?
This is Article 21. Thank you. All right, so currently there are two plans, and the two plans are single employee plus one, which can be a spouse or child, and then a family plan. We still intend, or the proposal is, and we're still investigating this, as I understand it. And actually, Tracy, you probably would be sure.
Yeah, let me kind of walk through it, and you guys feel free to ask questions or make notes as you would like to. Our kind of follow-up on this will be, as we talked about last session, maybe a meeting just on self-funded plans and what the data looks like. But this particular discussion, and again, feel free to ask questions, but what we are looking to do is maintain two plans. We have medical plan one, which is your copay, and set, premiums for that deductibles. The second plan is the high deductible with health savings account. Same two plans. We're not suggesting any plan design changes at this time. However, we're looking at the premium changes and tier changes. So what a tier is employee only, employee plus one, and family. Those are called the tiers. So you guys are familiar with those if you're electing our coverage. What we are looking to do, we've looked at this for a number of years, and we think next year is the year. So our benefit year is a calendar year, right? So even though your contract years might be fiscal, our benefit years are the calendar year. So as of January of 26, we are going to have tiers that have the employee only and specify a child, which is under the age of 18, as a dependent, or the spouse. What that does is individuals that have, our employees that have one child on their plan, that is a less costly endeavor for the whole city and for that employee. Children cost less than spouses. As we get older, our costs go up, as we know. So spouses actually cost the plan more. So if we can segregate out the different types of dependents, then those tier costs are different. So the first biggest change in this is you are looking at the medical rates. The first one is the plan one. We're just looking at plan one. We've given you rates for 3 years because we are suggesting a 3-year contract. So we charge biweekly what we call premiums. What we would like to do over 3 years is have the employee cost be 0 for both plans, but we'll start with plan one. We want to take that value of the employee and take it out of each of the tiers of the dependents, but the employee's cost needs to pay more for the dependent levels. And it's all about the actuarial value of that plan. The city pays a huge portion of the plan right now, probably 92%, and the employee premiums are quite small. We are looking over a 3-year period to increase the dependent levels to where the cost is split between the employee and their dependents in the city. So right now, the portion that employees pay for all level of tiers is less than 10% of that complete cost of the plan. So when you look at this over years, you're going to see that the employee costs go up, but the
employee costs, employees.
only, yes, I'm sorry, go down to 0, but the dependent costs will eventually go up over the 3 years. So people would have to reflect on their plus one, spouse or child, and family plan, what that might look like. What we tried to do is look at the actual actuarial value, which means the cost of our claims and our fixed costs. So we get charged from Blue Cross for processing our claims. That's an administrative fee. So we know all the costs that go into supporting one employee and their dependent, all the members, they're called members of our medical plan, whether it's a dependent or employee. So we know the cost of that. We have impact on that by doing healthy lifestyles, preventative screenings, things like that. So if our actuarial value over time goes down, that means the cost share would go down to the employee. If our actuarial value keeps going up, then that cost share changes. So ultimately, we have a formula for saying the split in those costs based on the actuarial value. So your question might be, well, what's the actuarial value? How do we look at that? And that's where we want to look at all the data with you and all the cuts of the costs and the value of those plans. In this also is your pharmacy costs and our clinic costs. So a lot of people think, oh, I'm just paying for medical. You're paying for the pharmacy also, which we're self-insured for. And we pay, I think, 1.2 or 1.3 to maintain our clinic every year. So our costs do go up over time. So the second page is your plan 2, which is a high deductible health plan with a health savings account. So those would be your 3-year premium costs over time. And then at the bottom of that page is your dental rates. Our dental is self-funded also. Our actuarial cost for that, we're doing quite well in our dental. We don't charge much at all for any of our dental plans. So we're looking there also to provide that free to employees, but you pay the cost for your dependents to be on your dental plan. And then we've said for dental rates over the 2nd and 3rd year, we would look at no more than a 12% increase over time for those. Section 2, I will apologize, it's handwritten if you'll notice that, that's my initials. But we actually provide $50,000 of life insurance to every employee. So I just want to make that change. We continue to provide long-term disability, the cost incurred by the city, and then the other sections have not changed.
Stacy, do you happen to know how many people use like the employee plus one or employee plus family?
Yeah, we do have that. Let me see if I
I can just see this being a huge jump. I'm trying to explain that.
It's only double.
188%.
Oh, this is gonna affect me for the first time. I'm looking at it going, holy cow.
It's an increase of 188%, and they're proposing a 2% increase in wages.
Okay, single, 88 individuals. Plus one is 22. And the family plan is 72. Now, out of the plus ones, I think it's half and half, children and spouse, if I remember. So when that tier changes, you're gonna have people that would, their cost would be different with the tier with the children.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions for the benefits before we move on to Article 22, additional pay incentives, which is previously residential incentive pay? So Article 22, residential incentive pay is still there. We're proposing paying it bi-weekly rather than weekly. We're proposing eliminating the longevity pay. This is where the acting at higher pay has been moved, and
Change.
it has been changed to so we're proposing change to it. Instead of acting at the higher rank, we're proposing a 5% base hourly rate increase, which from the math that we've done is comparable to the rank increase when you go through the administrative. So it's just easier administratively for us to do it. The idea eventually is going to make it easier for y'all to submit the information for it so that it's handled through Workday with less paperwork ultimately. Field training officer pay is moved here from the from Article 7, I believe, with elimination of the CSI language. And then we're proposing eliminating the clothing allowance and the firearm allowance. And then this is where we're addressing the salary incentive program from the Florida Statute 943-22.
So maybe you can fix up section A, and acting or higher rank says for all time spent in the acting role. Section C says compensation will be applied for any full shifts.
Our intent is the full shift.
Okay, so I just want to see if I'm missing anything. We're really not, we're taking 5% less and still keeping the full shifts in there, just to make sure we're understanding.
That's our proposal.
Okay.
And just to clarify, we're taking 80 per week for FTOs and making it 150 paid biweekly, so that's a decrease of $10 for our field training officers.
Oh, that was not our intent. I think I meant 160. Yeah, I didn't mean to decrease that. My apologies.
This one.
I definitely did not mean to decrease the FTOs.
Okay.
And we lose the gun allowance as well.
That is the proposal, yes.
And clothing, are those only the detectives that get that, the clothing allowance now?
So for Article 23, promotional process, this is just trying to clean up the language in Section 1, because there's redundant language regarding 3 years, the beginning and the end of the sentences, along with the 2 years for lieutenants and cannons. So we're just eliminating the double language there. As mentioned earlier, we're holding back the Appendix C because we're still working on language for that. The idea, there's a provision that deals with both alcohol and drugs in it in one section, that's Section B. The idea is going to be that we're going to split that up into 2 sections. So alcohol is handled one way and drugs are handled a different way, so it's clearer, cleaner. But that language isn't ready. It's part of the modernization effort we're going through with the rules and regulations. And for the duration, we're proposing a 3-year contract, no reopeners. And then we've moved the FRS language in Section 6 into the proposed Article 610.
We've already discussed that by that too.
What is our hard out time?
We thought 2 or 2:15, whatever you guys would direct.
Could we caucus and meet again at 2?
Yes.
Just for if we have any clarifying questions and to just come up with
You want
a
to
date.
propose this?
Prior to
Oh.
the caucus, and I just looked this up.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see us being done with our caucus before we get a break for the day. I just
Yeah,
said that.
It's up to you guys.
Yeah, it's up to you.
So,
Do you want us to come back if there are any questions that you guys have?
Yes.
Too?
Yeah, if you don't mind, come back, we'll see if there's any questions. We're not gonna have anything for you in that another
That's
term,
really fine.
but I think we're all in agreement. But
Oh, this is not the
Do you-
same thing. Okay,
there's multiple.
okay, sorry. I was like, 2 or 4 years.
Do you know of the proposals we submitted you the last time that we met with just the clarifying language things and bringing us up? Did you accept any of those, or they're all?
I think we made tweaks to everything, even the closest one is probably going to be Article 6, but that one we proposed language to make sure that it's clear that if not all executive board members are present, it still can go forward, and then that we have 2 or more representatives present if we decide to need it.
Okay.
Lieutenant, would this be the only change you're suggesting in your contract, or this is just
At this
1.5? Okay,
I don't see, there's a couple issues that some members, some lieutenants brought up. At this point, this is it.
okay, appreciate that. And you don't have to share, if you have future ones you're gonna bring, I just wasn't sure where you were going with that. So we'll stop down in like 20 minutes, just to check in. Okay.
thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.